because I wasn't born in 1970.
No.
So of course I didn't have an opportunity to know him, and nor did my father.
Now, who was your father?
My father is Mac Barefoot.
Ah, I know.
Mac and Manty.
Yes,
Mac and Manty,
yeah.
and there was Herb, Uncle Herbert.
Herb, now I remember the names.
Yeah,
now.
Uncle Herb passed away. Not to quote me on this, but a few years back now, it might be 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
And I might be wrong by saying that, and Dad will correct me on it, of course.
Because you never know, the time goes so fast.
No, the time goes so fast.
Yeah.
So that was Uncle Herbert.
Yeah.
So the three sons, Manty, Mac, and Herb, was the three sons of Lillian and Kenneth.
Yeah.
Kenneth Barefoot. The Nan was a James.
Yeah.
And her sister was Pauline. You'll probably remember all this. Pauline's daughter was Jessie.
Yes, right.
So Jessie Hiles was my second cousin, Dad's first cousin.
Yeah.
So then Jessie and Lester's family, and we know there's a nation or an army of them, I call it, all the Hiles.
Yeah.
And so if there's any such thing, because I can remember Nan and my Uncle Manty always saying, and Dad saying, that if there's any such thing as a third cousin, I say there is a third cousin, but as they say, well, they used to say years ago, there's no such thing as a third cousin. But anyway, if there is a third cousin, they're all third cousins of mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm married to a girl in Greenspan.
Yeah, you're married to a girl.
I'm married to Joy Carter from Ship Island up in Greenspan.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, I wanted to come down and say hi to you and meet you here in your house in Pools.
Yes.
And this is an honour. And I'm doing this on behalf of Dad and my uncle.
Yeah.
And also, I guess, for the remembrance of my grandmother that I grew up with.
Yeah.
My grandmother was my mother, technically, for me and my brother Chris.
That was Lillian.
That was Aunt Lil.
Aunt Lil. Yeah.
Now, there was a lady that used to come visit Nan, Aunt Carrie.
Aunt Carrie.
Aunt Carrie, and I think she was a James. And Caroline Scratch was the nickname. She was blind in one eye.
Yeah.
And she used to come visit our home in St. John's.
Yeah.
Can you remember the lady?
I can. Oh, sure I can.
She was a doll. Every time Dad would come into the door, Aunt Carrie would jump up, and two of them would have a scuff in the kitchen.
Yes, I know what that Carrie is.
Yeah, Aunt Carrie and Caroline James.
No.
So your interpretation and your memories of the Jameses and the Barefoots, how much can you remember? I guess
I can remember quite a little bit, I suppose, and I can remember your grandfather was Kenneth Bartlett.
That's right.
And your great-grandfather was Job Bartlett.
Yes, Job.
Job Bartlett.
Yeah.
And now I can't remember about Uncle Joe, but I can remember about him through my father.
Okay.
I can remember about him through my father.
Yeah.
And because my father used to go out to the seal fishery years ago.
Oh, wow.
Uncle Job, they used to call him.
That's right.
When you got older, then you became uncle.
Yeah.
Aunt, you know.
That's right, and still is. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyhow, they used to go out to the seal fishery with him. And my father used to say, you can't be stopped when you get with Joe Bartlett from getting in somewhere now, because they had to stop off and wait for the train. They had to walk to Gambo.
Yes, you had your Gambo slide years ago.
Yeah. Usually they got to Airbay first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Usually you got to Airbay first.
Yeah.
And then they had to walk the rest of the way then the next day to Gambo. And my father always gives the people out around there a good name.
Yeah, the people from Airbay.
Yeah, and Gamble, that he was all ready to help the people out and take them in their homes. And a lot of people used to take them in. They were not regular boarding houses or anything, but they just took the people in because there used to be a crowd going in. And my father used to say, when you got with Uncle Joe Barfoot, you was okay. Because he could get in anywhere, he knew everybody, and everybody knew him.
He was a real character, real personality.
A real character he was, yeah.
And everybody liked him.
Everyone liked him, and he knew everybody.
So that was people that would be leaving to go to the seal hunt, say, I guess to St. John's, was it?
They would take the train.
They would leave, take their Gambo slide.
They'd walk to Gambo.
That's right.
The 30 miles or whatever it was, from there. And they'd walk up there.
I guess a lot of times back then it was probably over ice at one time.
Yeah. Oh yes, there was some ice. They didn't go by where the road goes now. They went further along shore.
Yeah, in the ice, and worked their way up the shore.
Worked their way up that way.
So that was with my great-grandfather.
Yeah, that was your great-grandfather, Joe Barfoot.
Joe Barfoot. Yeah. Now, where would he be buried? Is he here in Pools Island himself? Or?
No, I can't tell you that. But he must be buried over in what we call the old cemetery.
The old cemetery.
He's buried on Pools Island. That's where he's buried.
Something that I would like to try to find, and my uncles actually asked me this, wonder if there's any way that you could get the layout, the plot of where everybody was located, because there's no headstones, there's very few up there now.
No, I don't know about it.
No.
Now I got a grandfather over there and 2 aunts.
Wow.
2 daughters, but I don't know where they're buried.
No.
No one ever told me.
Nobody knows.
I don't know. No, I don't know. But I also got a aunt and a grandmother in this new cemetery. Yeah,
yes.
I know where.
On the other side, you see the name of Esther.
Yeah.
Esther and Ezra, and that cemetery on this side. Is that the one you're talking about as you're going in through here now?
That's the one.
That's
the cemetery.
But anyway, getting not the butt in, but get you back on your story again, the Job. Yeah.
Yes, and the father said they were going out one time. And Uncle Job was there certainly, and Uncle Job said, "Boys, it's time to get the kettle boiled. We should get the kettle boiled now." Yes, someone said, "Well, about time to boil the kettle." Yeah, so just move a little bit, clear the path, and clear away a place, and start picking up the dry wood there for the make a fire and boil the kettle. Yeah, Uncle Job was dead over all of this.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And we boiled the kettle, got the kettle going certainly, and he had a young fella with them from Westerville. Now I don't know if he was going to the sailfish or not, but he was going through to take the train anyway. I don't know where he was going to. He was only a young fella, like not very old, and not much used to roughing it,
Yeah, of course it was roughing it, yeah.
Yeah, and anyhow, Brian, by the end the kettle boiled, they poured up the tea and then got their lunch and was having the lunch. And this little fellow from Westville said, "Have anyone got a spoon?" he said. And your great-grandfather said, "What in the hell do you want a spoon for?" He said, "My son." He said, and he reached over and pushed his forefinger down in the cup and stirred up the tea. Hey, that's what we use as a spoon. He said, but the young fellow drank the tea down. My father used to be a great key at this thing.
You had that old story, yeah?
Yes, I always had a great key at that. And I always said, well, when you was with Uncle Joe Barfoot, you were all right. You wouldn't be left outdoors. He was with Uncle Joe Barfoot because everyone knew him. He knew everybody.
Can you remember my grandfather who had his arm gone? He lost his arm.
Oh, my dear, yes.
You can remember?
Yes, I can remember him.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and now see, I can't remember your great-grandfather's too far back from me.
No.
Only what I've heard my father.
Yeah, the stories from your father.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yes, I can.
But you can remember him?
I can remember Kenneth, sure I can.
Go on, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I can see Kenneth now. Kenneth was a great sport too. Yeah.
I heard that, yeah.
Yes, and he could sing nice too.
Was he?
Yeah.
Good singer.
Oh, he's a pretty good singer, yeah.
He was up in Silver Fox. He was a lay reader in Silver Fox. Do you remember that?
He used to teach school one time.
Okay.
At a place just around Shoe Cove Point there.
Yeah, Silver Fox Island.
Yes,
that's right.
Yeah.
Up on the island.
Yeah,
He was up there.
He used to go. He used to teach school out there.
Now, how old would he be then? I wonder.
I don't know. And I still got a dictionary here now. The poor old dictionary is sort of in bad shape now. But I still got a dictionary here that we bought from. And he was
Are you serious?
No, yes.
Do you know where to find it?
Yeah.
Do you? You know where to find it? I'd love to get that on video to show my dad and to show my uncle. This is goosebumps here, because this is amazing to think that you might actually have something that my grandfather did have. Wow.
Yeah. This cover here is kind of broken.
But that came from my grandfather.
That's your grandfather sold that dictionary to me
my Lord.
a long, long time ago. Some of them, and there was other ones sold here on the island too.
I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
So that was my grandfather.
That was your grandfather. So he
Wow.
was selling dictionaries. And that was one, they wanted red covers, but some had black covers.
So he sold this,
Yeah.
and you bought it.
And we bought it, yes, my mother and them.
Your mother bought it.
Yeah, bought it. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. What does this say here?
I can't see it from there. It's my almost blind.
Wow. So this was from my grandfather.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
sold this to your family.
Well, perhaps that would be my brother's name. There.
Could be, yeah, yeah.
My brother was older than I was, and that cover got broke. So that's
Yeah.
a long time ago.
Boy, that is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, so you remember my grandfather, and you remember him well.
Yes, I remember.
The story I heard was he broke his arm playing with the children
Yeah, well,
when he was a small child,
I can tell you perhaps.
and it never ever set.
Yeah, I can tell you a little bit about that.
Okay.
I think years ago, they used to boys in school and that would be fooling around and that time,
Yeah.
and they would form a ladies' chair. They used to call it.
Yeah.
And they put their arms, two fellas would put their arms like this, and then someone else was sitting and they carry them around, eh? And this is what they were doing. And your grandpa was sitting in the ladies' chair, they call it. And anyhow, he fell out somehow, or perhaps the boys let go or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
and he fell, and hurt his arm. Hurt his arm.
And that was obviously here on the island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was there on the island. And he hurt his arm, and his arm never healed right.
Never set.
And he had to get his arm amputated, right to the shoulder.
Right to the shoulder.
Yeah.
I've seen pictures, Dad has pictures of him, and the actual coat, the arm used to be tucked into the pocket.
Tucked into the pocket, right.
Into the pocket,
And
yeah.
I can see your grandfather now up on the old stage in the old Orange Hall singing "Oh My Darling Dilly Gray." That's the song he was singing. And he was stood up by an ordinary chair like you're sitting on now, and with his arm rest on the back of the chair.
Yeah.
He only had one arm, certainly.
And he'd sing, what was the song he used to
The
sing?
song he was singing was "My Darling Nellie Gray."
My Darling Nellie Gray.
Oh, my darling Nellie Gray, they have taken you away, and I'll never see you, darling, anymore. I'm sitting by the river, and I'm weeping all the day, for you've gone from the old Kentucky shore.
And that was at the old Orangeman's Lodge.
Yeah.
And that's up where I was too, right across from the Orangeman's Lodge last night.
Yes.
We were up for that little party there in the store. There was a birthday party. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but it was all people from here in Pools Island. So you were saying where my grandfather was singing this song.
Yeah.
I was there actually last night, right across,
You're right across from there.
playing and singing, because I play guitar and sing too.
Oh, you play guitar?
I play guitar, yeah. I'm a musician, like my father.
Oh, yes.
I see you have a couple of nice guitars here.
I got the guitars there,
Yeah.
but now I can't play the guitar. I play the single strings and all that. But I bought them because I got a friend in Gamble who got a musical talent, and he visits me sometimes.
And he comes in and plays a song with you.
And he plays a song for me. Well,
Excellent.
Yeah, and sings a song, and he can play the piano accordion too.
I'm not exactly sure, and I guess Dad and Mant would tell me, but you might know yourself. When was it that Nan and my grandfather actually left Pools Island? I think Nan, from my memory recall, she left and went in service in St. John's, and I think she left and went in when she was 15. She was a very young girl.
No, I can't remember anything about when she left, so that will be right what you're saying.
And
But I met your grandmother.
okay.
I met your grandmother years after that when she was older, because she was here, and she was here in this house.
I might have been here with her because we were out for a wedding. We were only small kids.
Yeah.
And that was the first time Nan was home since she left.
Yeah. And now I don't remember that, but I remember her being here, your grandmother, yes.
I'd say we were here with her. We were very young.
And I can see your grandfather now certainly standing on the stage and singing this it was a Negro song, a song from the U.S. And they had taken his darling Nellie Gray. She was a Negro girl too, and they had sent her further south, you see, and he was left alone there. And the another verse is, when the moon had climbed the mountain and the stars were shining too, then I take my darling Nellie Gray, and we paddle down the river in my little red canoe. On my banjo, how sweetly I would play. Oh, my poor Nellie Gray, they have taken you away, and I'll never see you, darling, anymore. I'm sitting by the river, and I'm weeping all the day, for you've gone from the old Kentucky shore. That is more than that to the song.
But that was the song that my grandfather sang.
That was the song he was up singing on the stage in the old Iron Jaw, and doing a good job on it too.
Fabulous.
I was a little
Fabulous.
boy.
So what year are we talking now when that was?
Well, my dear, I couldn't say. I suppose, I don't know, maybe I was 7 or 8 years old, I don't know.
And you are now 87?
I'm 87.
87. Why, John, you never say it. You're very, very spry and smart for 87, sir.
Thank you.
Very smart, very spry. Yeah, so, as I was saying, my grandmother and my grandfather, I guess they left at different times, did they?
Yes,
Because Nan left when she was 15.
Yes, they must have, yeah.
She left and went to
Yeah,
St. John's,
yeah.
and the home.
Yeah.
The propeller and a couple other parts of the home is up in Greenspan.
Yeah.
I've taken numerous pictures of that and sent that to Dad and my uncle.
Yeah.
But how much longer after, if you know, did it take before my grandfather actually left and went to St. John's and met up with her?
No, I don't know that.
Not 100% certain.
I don't know when he left out. I don't know. But I know about him. I can remember him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now, your grandmother must have been left before that, because I don't remember anything about your grandmother her young days.
No.
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 But now, I remembers your great aunts.
Okay.
And Marjorie.
Yes, Aunt Marge. Yes,
And
very much so.
Who married Bill Dyke.
That's right.
And did you know any of her children?
Yes. Yeah. Job
Joe
and Jose.
and Josie, yeah.
Yes, very much so. We grew up with them.
Yeah.
Aunt Marge used to come visit Nan all the time.
Yeah, and our oldest son Emor passed away.
That's right. He
Yeah,
passed away. You're
he
very much
passed
right.
away. And he was working on the last, but he was working with the Colonial Garage in St. John's.
That, I think, was that Job?
No.
Was Job that was with Colonial? No, he was with one of the with Hickman's or something.
It was Emor.
It was Emor.
Yeah,
You're
the
right.
oldest one. And every time he would come this way to visit the garages, or take a list of the parts and that,
That's right.
always come here to see us.
Fabulous.
And always came here as a boy. See?
That's right.
Always came here as a boy to visit us, and never missed when he come down here. He had to come over here and spend a half hour or so with us.
Well, I'm I'm going to start a new tradition because I'm going to continue it. And I'm here to Pools Island a lot in the last year. Like, I used to come to Greenspan a lot over the years. I've been coming 30 years because of where I've been with Joy for so long. But I never really spent much time down the shore.
No.
Now, I have a brother-in-law, Jeff Carter, who's married to Lorna Winters, which is Job Winters' daughter. They own the food land over here over in Badger's Key. Anyway, because my mother-in-law has been sick, she's now been moved from Brookfield to Banu's Lodge. So we've been out a lot in the last say 6, 7, 8 months.
It's a small world.
I've been spending a lot more time down here. And I've been in contact with Emma and, like I was saying, Nina and all the group and Colin and all them. And I said, I really would like to start learning some more of our family history and spend more time here at Pools Island, which I'm doing.
And now then, did him show you a picture with your great-grandfather genes on it?
No. Have you got any photos?
No, I give a photo to him with Simeon genes on it.
Wow.
He was married. He was married to your great grandmother Ellen.
Yes.
James.
Yes.
And where I got the picture to a friend in St. John's, Lucy Dutch. They were here from the island one time, and they went in St. John's. She was just okay. Twin sister Edie. And Lucy sent me this picture to see if I could pick out Simeon genes. So she sent it to me for to keep. Oh, the biggest picture.
Wow.
Proud of me. It looked like it was taken on a ship or something. But no one didn't seem to know where it was taken to. So anyhow, I picked out your great-grandfather. I seen him there. I knew him. So,
yeah.
And I phoned and told Lucy, yes, I can pick him out, seeing what he was from the different right. Yes, Lucy.
Is that the picture he stood on the deck?
I don't know where he's
deck of the ship?
He's standing up. So many were standing up and so many sitting down, I believe. So many being there. But no one didn't know where the picture was taken to. Lucy got it in St. John's. I wonder, did Lucy get it from Mac?
I'm not sure. No. I'm not sure.
But anyhow,
that's something that I can research.
Yeah,
I can find that out for you. I'll check that through Dad, because they'll see this video.
Yeah,
and they'll be able to determine about that picture. Now there might be a lot of pictures that Dad and Mant might have that you might like to see. Yes, that would bring back memories to you, that you might have a story of the pictures. Because Dad and Mant have collected a lot of these family portraits and pictures over the years, and they know the history and the story behind the pictures.
Sure.
So I'd say there's a lot of pictures that I might have at my disposal that I could probably get a copy and bring it out and give you. Yeah. I'd be only too happy to if you're interested in receiving them. Now looking across right here as we look out the window, that's where where I guess the old drawbridge, not so much the drawbridge, but the old bridge was too, wasn't it? This is where the causeway is. This is Badger's Key side?
This is Pools Island side here.
This here on the side that we're on here now.
Yeah.
And looking across.
Yeah. The bridge went across where the causeway is to. Where the causeway
is to, right here now.
That's where the bridge went across.
There's the causeway, and this is where the bridge was too.
That's where the Bailey Bridge went across. There was an invention from the First or the Second World War, rather.
It was called a Bailey?
A Bailey Bridge, yeah.
Okay.
That's what it was called. And it was developed in England. And
okay.
You could put them across pretty fast, the steel itself.
Yeah.
The steel bridge, yeah. But I worked on it when they was putting it across there.
Okay.
And it took the best part of the summer, not putting the bridge across, but building the concrete farms. Because the water is deep there. The dead channel was always listed on a marine chart as a marine navigable channel.
Go on.
Before.
So did the schooners go up through?
Yeah, schooners will go up and down through there. For water fairly deep there.
Wow.
Yeah, and no rocks there.
So coming up through here, I guess back years ago, you could look out there now and see boats constantly.
We had a ringside seat there, and Gideon Bound, who was a man who had several vessels. He was a fisherman in his day, Labrador fisherman. They had Labrador schooners, and then he had freighters afterwards.
The motor, the engine on the other side.
Yeah, and he had a pier across there, just up this side of where the causeway is to now. That's where his pier was to. He had a nice pier over there, and fishing sheds and that there, and he had a grocery store over there, and dry goods store.
Wow.
Yeah. And
I think Joy's dad can remember that.
his two sons took it over afterwards, Wilfred and Herb.
Okay.
Herb went on the boats, and Wilfred ran the business.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was I going to say to you? There's the remains of an old engine. There's a crankshaft over there. I noticed there the other day, and I think there's a bottom part, the lower crankcase of the engine. And I guess that was probably from one of their boats or whatever. You can still see it there now.
Yes, there was a lot of old. You never think to be gone so clean though, because I don't know what old stuff was over around there. A lot of it.
It's probably still there. It's all up and under the water now. You just don't see it, of course.
All gone, and most of it, yeah.
That's amazing. So you've lived here in Pools all your life?
Yeah.
And this home that you live in here now, was this your parents' home at one time, or?
Yes, this was my parents' home, but before my parents bought it,
Yeah.
it was Lewis Wicks's home.
Okay.
The Wickses were the people who lived here.
Okay, this area right here.
Yeah, the Wickses are all gone now. They're all dead now, of course.
Wow.
Well, there's one lady left.
Wicks. That's the last of the Wickses in Pools Island.
Yeah, she's married. She lives over Connor Brookway that way.
I'm going to throw another name at you, sir, that I know very, very little about. It was a name that I grew up listening to and hearing her name my whole life. Her name was Annie Kane.
Annie Kane.
That was my, if I'm wrong, Dad will correct me, my grandmother's godmother.
Yeah, that could very well
Can
be.
you remember the lady?
Because she was my godmother too.
Wow.
Yes, she ran the post office here on Pools Island for years and years and years, till she retired.
Wow.
Yeah. She ran the post office, and before that, the post office was operated by a man originally from Greenspan. His name was Peter House, and he lived up on the western end of the island.
I wonder is any relation to, and I dare say he is Whelm House. The house, well, I remember Whelm from years ago, but Whelm is not living in Greenspan anymore.
No.
Whelm used to be there first when I used to come out. He's up in Ontario somewhere. So I dare say it was a relation.
Yeah.
So this lady, Annie Kane, yeah, she obviously was...
She's related to me.
Okay.
Yeah, she was my mother's first cousin. My grandmother Nee was Annie Kane's aunt.
Wow.
Yeah. And she's related to you in one way too.
Wow.
Because her mother, Mary Hester Kane, married Marshall Kane.
Okay.
And Mary Hester Kane my grandmother Starks's mother died when my grandmother was only a baby.
Okay.
And her father, John Jeans,
Okay.
he married the second time. And he married the second time, and your great grandmother, Ellen Jeans, was his daughter by a second wife. Robert John Jeans was a son by the second wife.
Wow.
And Mary Hester Kane, that was Annie's mother, she was a daughter by the second wife. So,
Your memory is as sharp as a tack.
very good.
Yes, sir, it sure is.
And then they were stepsisters. Your great grandmother was a stepsister, and Annie Kane's mother was a stepsister to my grandmother, and Robert John Jeans, who married Aunt Carrie, the one we used to.
Yes, Aunt Carrie, Aunt Caroline Scratch.
Yeah, she was a stepsister, or he was. Yes, my grandmother was a stepsister to him.
Okay.
They had the same father, but not the same mother. He married again.
He remarried.
Remarried, yes. His name was John James. Now then, I got to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Now.
Okay.
Did you know Reggie James? Reggie James.
That was Uncle Ridge.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, and I sure do remember him.
Yeah.
He had the cabin. He built the cabin over here next to Lester
Right,
and
yeah.
Jesse's.
Yeah.
Uncle Ridge was Nan's brother,
Yeah.
Reg and Sybil.
Yeah.
Reg and Sybil.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Sybil
their
was-
daughter, yeah.
Sybil was from Blazing Ski. Their daughter's still alive.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. I very much so remember
Yeah.
Uncle Reg.
Yeah.
Uncle Reg used to come see Nan all the time.
Yeah. And now then, Robert John, Aunt Carrie was a squirrel.
Originally a sparrow?
Yes, from. They lived here on the island at one time, but years ago, before I could remember, they went to Valleyfield to live.
Up there.
Up there, yeah.
There was a story Nan always told me. She used to say, me and Chris always used to eat bologna. Growing up, we still eat it. That's my brother, Chris.
Yeah.
And Nan used to say, boys, you're worse than the Welshers up in Arm. They ate 60 bolognas in one winter. So that was a saying Nan always used to say to me and Chris.
Yes.
And the Arm, of course, is on the other side. I only found that out a little while ago because the side that you drive down on is not the original Arm.
No,
The original Arm is on the other side where that cabin is built now.
But the squirrels live right up in the bottom.
Right up to the... Okay,
Right up
yeah.
in the bottom. You would, on this side, I think, but right up in the bottom. That's
You
what
go
the
on up
squirrels-
through there, you'd be right up to what they call, I think it's the headwaters of Southwest Pond.
Yeah.
I've gone up through there years ago on Skidoo.
And then Norwich Pond.
Norwest Pond. Yes, you work your way up through. All the smelt goes up through there.
Yeah.
I've been smelt fishing up there over the years.
Was
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Yes.
What an interesting history. What stories I've heard from you today already. And see the book that my grandfather sold to your family. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And now, your great grandmother Helen James and Robert John James and Mary Hester Kane. They were Mary Hester and your great grandmother were stepsisters to my grandmother Starks, Bathsheba Starks. Her name was, she was a James before she was married.
Wow.
And like I said, her mother died, and her father married the second time.
Yeah.
And now then, Mary Hester Kane was, she married my mother's uncle, Marshall Kane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And her stepbrother, Robert John, married Carrie, certainly, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
married Carrie. And her other stepsister, Helen, that was your great-grandmother, Lillian was your grandmother, wasn't
That's right.
Yeah, well, Helen was my grandmother Starks' stepsister, you see.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, and she married Simeon.
Simeon, yes.
Simeon James.
Yes.
She never changed her name. James, well, you're not related, but it's James.
Yeah, it's still James, yeah.
That's who she married, and she was your grandmother, wasn't she? No,
Lillian, yeah. Lillian was my grandmother. That's Dad's mother.
She was your great-grandmother.
Great-grandmother, that's right.
Helen, yeah. And Helen married Simeon James.
Yes.
She never changed her name. She married Simeon James. And Simeon was married before.
Okay.
Simeon was married.
That story sounds familiar to me.
Yeah. Simeon was married to Rachel Starks first. And she died, I suppose. Yeah, must have been. Because no one never got divorced then.
No, that's right.
She died, and then he married your great grandmother, Ellen James.
Wow.
That was your grandmother's mother, certainly.
Boy, you remember all the history of all the people. Boy, that's amazing. I'm blown away by your memory.
I can remember that much.
You remember that?
My memory's pretty good.
For the size of Pools Island is a very small little place. There's an awful lot of history.
Oh yes.
There's so much history. It's amazing.
At one time, see, Big Island, that oil island out there, that was inhabited. On this side, on the lower flat.
Okay.
And then down the other island, across from where Jesse and Lister lived.
Yes.
That was inhabited. That was Callaway's Island.
Callaway's Island, yes. Yeah.
And there's another island then a little bit beyond that. There was 2 or 3 families there. They were owls what lived there.
Howells on that island.
Yeah, and then the small island this way, flat small island, Brown's Island, British Island it was known as one time, but people used to call it Brown's Island, I suppose, after the surnames of the people.
That lived there.
Yeah, and that's where the church was to first, on Brown's Island.
Well, go on.
On that little island, yeah. But I can't remember none of them.
No, we're talking.
But I can remember.
We're talking a long time ago, obviously.
Yeah, but I can remember when people was living on Callaway's Island.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I remember that.
I always heard
the houses and the kings were down there.
I remember Nan talking about the stories of Paddy's Poor Light and the Puritan.
Yeah.
These stories. This is things that I grew up listening to as a small child. Paddy's Poor Light.
That's the island up to the west side of Pools Island.
Up there.
There's a little island up there. Paddy Pools Island. They picked up the body of a seaman one time.
Okay.
And he had PP. No one didn't know who it was. And he had PP tattooed on the back of his hand.
And that's what it was.
The way they used to tattoo back there was not professionally done. They would tattoo by taking a sharp instrument like a needle or something and pricking the skin until the blood came, and then they would rub gunpowder in it.
Go on.
Yeah, and then when it healed over, the gunpowdering on there would always be there a bluey black.
Wow.
And this was what...
That's what was on his hand.
That's what was on his hand. And they called him Paddy Poor.
Paddy Poor, PP.
They didn't know what else to call him. And they always claimed that he was buried on that little island up there.
Isn't that called Smart's Island, is it? Coming down through?
No, that's up Greenspan.
Yeah.
This is right, just a little bit off Pools Island.
Just a little bit past Pools Island.
Just off the west end of Pools Island there. So,
wow.
Yeah. There's a little channel goes through. You can go through in small boats.
I've always heard tell of Safe Harbour. I've never been to Safe Harbour all the years I've been coming here.
Never been to Safe Harbour.
And I wasn't even sure where Safe Harbour was until one day there this summer, just after they opened the new lookout.
Yeah.
And I drove up to the lookout, and I was there reading the plaques and just admiring the beautiful job that the community did to put it together.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, at the corner of my eye, I looks across and I sees a bunch of cabins.
Yeah.
So takes my cell phone out, which has the maps on it.
Yeah.
I said, I wonder, is that Safe Harbour?
Yeah.
So sure enough, I looks at my cell phone in my hand.
Yeah.
Safe Harbour.
Yeah.
And that's where it was.
Yeah.
And I read a bunch of stuff about Safe Harbour after, how it used to be a whaling station.
It was a whaling station that was operated by Norwegians.
Okay. Yeah.
Whaling station.
Can you remember when people were living there?
Oh, yes, yes.
So how long has that been vacant as of such? When did people move out of that?
The early 50s.
Early 50s with resettlement.
Yeah, resettlement. Probably.
Same thing, I guess, with Silver Fox, Fair Island, and Bragg's Island, all that. Same time.
Same around that time, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And there's another little settlement across where my grandparents on my mother's side lived, Southeast Arm, which was called. But I suppose that all in the name of Safe Harbor, not very far from Safe Harbor.
Okay, I never heard of that.
Yeah, there was a little place, and the Barbers lived there, and people by the name of Barber and Pinsons, and my grandfather was an E, certainly. And
Okay.
grandfather lived this way a little bit more. Beautiful place, quiet, nice place.
Beautiful spot.
Beautiful spot. Quiet and nice and beautiful. And then you went right out on the bottom, but over on the west side of the harbour, and that was Northwest Arm up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's all other little communities that were along here
Yeah.
just off from Pools Island.
Yeah, and you went up through Valleyfield, but the reason why those people were over on that side, there was long drafts of water that went up through, you see, and they were almost isolated as if they were on islands, like, you know,
Go on.
because the water went up in the country so far, you know, but it was easy. They put a road then up to Greenspan, of course.
That's right.
But that road should have been put up to Greenspan around shore down there, because it was easy to build causeways across
Those little rivers.
Because there's not wide and there's not deep there.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And then you would have been able to went out around shore to Greenspan right quick and went across the causeway.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that at that time.
So all these little communities, of course, they were all abandoned over
They
time.
were kind of isolated, like, because they had to come over to most of the stores, and that was all grocery stores, everything was over on this
It was
side.
all over on this
And
side.
they had to come over across the harbour in boat. So they left it then, and some come over this way, and more went to other places.
Badger's Key and Valleyfield and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So what did you do, sir, if you don't mind me asking? What did you do, what did you work at all your life?
I just worked around here all my life.
Whatever you could do.
Whatever I could do. I built boats.
Wow.
I built the car top boats.
Oh, okay.
Sports boats.
Yeah.
I built a couple of trees bigger than car tops. And I built 34 of them, I believe.
Wow.
34.
So you were a carpenter?
Oh yeah, I could do
Yeah,
carpenter work.
carpenter
And
work.
I did a bit of carpenter work around in the houses around here, and I could do a bit of wiring. If I was doing carpenter work in a man's house, he never had to go nowhere and get an electrician. If I had to change the wire, I could do that, and I could do plumbing.
You were a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
So you did everything and anything that you could do to make a living.
And I was barber for so long. I used to cut hair.
Wow. Well, that's something that I'm actually in the process of learning myself. I'm doing an apprentice from a gentleman in St. John's, Mr. Ted Doyle. He owned a family barber shop.
Yeah.
So I'm actually in the process now of learning to become a barber myself
Oh,
as a part-time venture.
yeah.
Yeah, the old-fashioned barber. That's what I'm eventually learning to do. So I am cutting hair myself.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, doing mainly like clipper cuts, short cuts like you or me has.
Yeah, yeah.
So you were a barber too. So did you run an actual shop here, or you were just
No,
running
I
around
just-
doing fellas' hair?
People used to come here and I used to cut their hair in my house there.
Oh, that's fabulous. Yeah.
Out in that part sometimes. Mostly.
My full name. I'm Peter Allen.
Peter
Peter Allen
Allen.
Barefoot.
Peter Allen Martin.
We always wondered, were we barefoots originally, and through the years the name was changed to Barefoot, or was there barefoots on Pools Island, or was everybody always classified as a barefoot? I've always had a wondering of that.
A
Right?
barefoot one time. I don't know how that's spelled, but 'tis barefoot. One time they used to call it, but then afterwards got to be barefoot.
That's right.
But I can tell you one thing: the barefoots, the barefoots, was one of the first settlers around on Bull's Island. Well, went back a long ways. I'm telling you. Yeah.
Is there any here now actually living on the island that would have any relation to me, I wonder?
Well,
It's sad to think that the name, there's very few of us. Right?
known by the
The actual BARFOOT, a bar and a foot.
yeah, barefoot.
Of course, we were English.
BAREFT.
Barefoot, yeah.
Barefoot. Now, I don't know, because that's like my name, Starks. I spells my name like my forefathers did, Starks. But most people spells it Starkes.
ES, with the E.
With an E.
Yeah.
But now there's no E in mine surname.
No.
It's just
That's like us, there's no name,
STARKS.
there's no E in our name.
No.
We were known as Barefoot. That's what's on my baptism certificate.
Yeah. Now I don't know. That's like mine too. Now I don't know where it gets mixed up in that kind of way or not. But now your great grandfather lived over on that side of the island. A man from the U.S. built a big house over there, but he died afterwards. So I don't know.
Is that big home that's there now?
Yeah, down by the water.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the big home.
That was where my grandfather was too.
That was where Uncle Joe Bartlett lived.
Okay, which was my grandfather's father.
Yeah.
That's where their family home was.
Yeah. And your great grandfather. That's really it. I don't remember anything about him. He was dead before I could remember.
Yeah.
But I remember about your great grandmother. She was Mary Ellen Dyke before she was married. She was a Dyke.
Okay.
Yeah. She was a Dyke here from Bull's Island, I suppose. And she married the second time then. Afterwards, well, she's the oldest then when she married. She married Peter John Calloway.
Yes. I heard that name many times, Peter John.
Yeah, Peter John Calloway she married.
Of course, these are names that my father remembers because they grew up with them when they were little children.
Certainly.
Like I did with my grandmother and Aunt Carrie. When I was a small child, I grew up with those people.
Now I got to tell you a little bit about Robert and Carrie. I know a little bit about them because they lived there on the island for a long time before they moved into St. John's. And they had a son, Ronald, who worked with the Newfoundland Marine, the railway part of it, on the Kyle. And his father.
Oh, on the Kyle.
Yeah, on the Kyle. And Uncle Bob, we used to call, he was my father's step uncle, is what you call it.
Yeah.
And the Kyle was his boat. His boat was the Kyle. He was a good seaman.
Wow.
And he had a wonderful memory. And the Kyle was his boat. He loved the old car. He was on that one, I think, all of his life. I don't know, he was on that. And then he married Aunt Carrie. She was a sparrow. And do you know any of their family?
I can't remember them now, sir. No.
Well,
I wasn't very old when poor Aunt Carrie passed away.
I don't know where I'll get on all any harder, not how they were born. Perhaps I might go any to it. There was Ronald, I believe, was the oldest one. Then there was a daughter, Linda. And then there was a daughter, Blanche. And then there was a daughter, Kenneth, whom I knew well. And because he was about the age of my brother. I had one brother, Llewellyn, and Ken and him went to school together. It was about the age, I went to school with Ken too, certainly. And I went to school with Blanche, his sister. She was a bit older than Ken. And then the last one was a girl, Mary. And I wonder if Mary is still alive. Did you didn't know Mary?
I can't remember now, sir.
She married a young in St. John's.
Okay.
But I don't remember. I don't know if she's alive or not. I can't remember ever hearing that she passed away. But if she's alive, she's a bit older than I am. I guess she's dead as well. But
I can barely remember Aunt Carrie, but what I can remember, she was a very small woman.
yeah,
You'd pick her up in your hands, there was
Yeah.
nothing to her.
She was
And I can remember she was blind in one eye.
Yeah, so she was. That's right. You're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
Now I'm talking, I was probably like 5, 6, 7 years old.
Yeah.
And we were living on Eric Street in St. John's. And of course, she would always come visit
Yes.
my grandmother, which was referred to as Aunt Lil. Aunt Lillian, yeah.
Aunt Lillian. And your grandfather was Kenneth.
Yeah,
But
Uncle
your
Ken.
grandfather didn't live a long time, did he?
No, I thought, and I have been corrected, I thought that he passed away from heart failure, but it wasn't. I was wrong. He had an aneurysm.
Aneurysm. Yes, that's what some people do have.
He had, he had an aneurysm, and then Nan was left to rear then. I think it was an 8-year-old, a 10-year-old, and of course Uncle Herb was, I think, probably 2 years older.
Yes.
So now I'm not exactly sure if those numbers are correct.
Now I had their names for the uncles forgot.
Monty, Mac, and Herb.
Monty, Mac, and Herb. Now I never had Monty forgot because I used to see him on TV. So
No, that was Mac. That was Mac.
Or Mac, rather.
Yeah.
I used to see Mac on TV. But now I had Herb, and what you say the other one?
Monty.
Monty. And now I had them forgotten. I did know the names, but I had them forgotten. I knew that he had 3 sons, eh?
That's right.
Yeah.
He had 3 sons. That's very much certain.
And Mac was your father, wasn't he?
That's right.
Yeah.
Mac is
was
my
a
dad. Yeah.
Mac was a good actor, and I used to get a kick out of it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dad used to be Corky on Skipper and Company.
Yes.
And he was a character known as Uncle Finn Pryor.
Yeah.
And that was on Pigeon Inlet.
Pigeon Inlet.
Yarns from Pigeon Inlet.
I remember.
Dad and Uncle Canon George Earl. Pardon me.
Gerald, yeah.
Dad and Canon George used to make the moonshine on the show.
Yes.
They were the characters, the real funny characters on the show. They're always up to mischief.
Yes.
But that was the 80s,
Yeah.
fairly much the 80s that Dad was at those shows and stuff. Dad is still playing. He's still a musician.
Is that right?
Doing great, doing fabulous.
He
Yeah,
used to play the drums and that.
yeah, still does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Semi-retired. Dad'll never retire in the sense of playing and always wanting to act and always music is his life.
Yeah.
And that's instilled in me.
Yeah.
I play, I'm a musician, and I guess I'll always will be. Yeah.
And now, I don't know if I told you this before or not, but I had a photo here of John James. Now, Lillian was your grandmother. Well, your great grandmother was Ellen. Huh?
Yeah, as you were saying, yeah.
And then Simeon. She married Simeon.
Yeah.
Simeon was married before, like I said, to Rachel Starks.
Yeah.
But they never had any children, I don't think.
No.
No. But now you know all the children that Ellen had. Certainly, they were. But now they were Pauline and Marjorie and Lillian
and Ridge.
and son Reggie.
That's right.
But now, Helen had a child before she was married.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, her name was Florence, and she was a deformed woman.
Okay.
A small woman. Deformed.
Didn't know that, no.
Yeah.
I better say Dad and them know that.
That was before she married Simeon, eh?
Before she married Simeon.
I don't know who Florence's father was. I don't know that.
On my grandfather's side, how many offspring did my grandfather have? Like, how many brothers and siblings, I guess is the word that I'm looking for. There was, Oh my jumping's my mind here now at the moment. Used to come in to visit us. Oh my God, my mind is blank here.
Yeah,
there was an Uncle Bill. This is my grandfather, Kenneth. His brother, he had a brother Bill.
Oh, yeah, Bill
And he-
Barfoot, yeah.
Bill Barefoot.
Yeah.
He was boasting on the boats.
He was boasting
He was
on the
boasting.
boats. And he was boasting on the boats, and him and a chest deep from Paul's Island here, they put all new rigging on the Narissa.
And the Nerissa.
Yeah, there was the two main shows for the rig. They want new rig. The company want new rigging put on her, and that was the two men they chose to put the rigging on her, and they put all new rigging on her, which was a big job, you know. But Chesterfield was a pretty good hand too, and that's who it was: Bill Barfoot and Chesterfield.
Do you see, Bill Barefoot wasn't afraid of anything. He'd
don't
climb up and go across
Yes, I did.
between the two peaks.
Yes, I did.
Didn't care.
No.
He had all the nerve in the world.
Yeah.
Now, what other family did they have? It was Kenneth, Bill. There was a sister, and she was living in Sandringham, up by Terranova in that way. And Millicent.
Millicent was your grandfather's sister. Yeah.
She used to come visit, and I remember.
You remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
and then now Millicent, she married Jonas Elliott from Paul's Island. They lived up on the west end of Paul's Island, Elliott's Point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where they lived out. And she had one son when she lived there, Edward. But after she went up to Sandringham, she had 2 daughters.
Okay.
Now,
In Sandringham.
Yeah, I don't know their names, but when she lived there, Edward was a little small boy, and my good friend was George Elliott. He was Edgar Elliott's son. I used to be up that way, and
All these names are so familiar to me.
yeah, and I knew this little fella, Edward. I knew him. When I was small, I had a little small hair rifle one time, and that's who I give her to, Edward.
Come on.
Yeah.
So you remember them. So that's 3 names there. Can you remember if there was any others? There was Bill, my grandfather,
Yeah.
and Aunt Millicent.
Aunt Millicent. That's all I can remember. I don't know what it's any more or not.
I wonder how old my grandfather actually was when he left Pools Island to go to St. John's. I know that when he was in there,
Kenneth was.
yes, they lived on the top of Bancladdy Street, 13 Pennywell Road. I left Pennywell Road when I was 4 years old.
Yeah.
And we moved to where Dad and my uncle are to now, and they're on Eric Street.
Yeah.
But I can remember very faintly 13 Pennywell.
Yeah.
So a lot of the people from Pools Island that used to come to town used to stay with my grandmother. Like
Yeah.
Claire Janes, who would be my 3rd cousin. I think that's right. Yes, that would be my 3rd cousin.
That was Pauline's
Pauline's son.
son.
Yeah.
Pauline had
Hey, Jesse.
let's see, Jesse,
Yeah.
our oldest, and then it was Fred. Fred was never married. Fred
No.
was very popular with the girls, but he never got married.
Go on.
Oh, I don't know what.
So that's Claire's brother,
Yes,
Fred.
Claire's older brother, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was Cyril.
Okay, yeah.
The youngest one. Cyril's still alive. He's the only one who's alive now.
So he's still alive. So
Yeah.
where is he, sir?
He lives in St. John's.
Is he?
Yes, I think so. Well,
And Claire had the gas station.
tried the gas station, yeah.
Jane's Ultramar.
Yeah. Claire died so quickly. I never thought. Claire
Yeah.
was a outgoing fella, like your great grandfather James. Oh, that's
Very
something
outgoing.
Yeah, and your grandfather James, who was related to my grandmother Starks, certainly. And Starks has lived over on the south side of the island there.
Okay.
And but Uncle Sim we used to call. He used to come
Yeah,
over.
Uncle Sim.
I used to like Uncle Sim. I got a great key of Uncle Sim.
Real character, hey?
Yes, he was a character, and he'd come over, and probably he'd come over, and he'd be here then so long talking and that, and he'd come over here, and probably my mother or my Aunt Mabel would say, Simba, is there anything falling you? Any weather, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
Any falling? No, mate, there's no one falling yet, but you can pull a stick. I mean, that's what
That's what he used to say.
I always say. You can pull the stick up here now. And did he be here so long? By and by, when he'd be going away, get up and go away. Oh, I must go over where the sun shines, I suppose. Just was over to his own place.
Over to his own place.
Yes. I must go over where the sun shines. Yeah, it was great like that, you know, yeah.
So where would the Janeses' home, say the home that Nan lived in, where was it that she would have been? Where, around what part of the island was the Janeses' home? I know where the Barfus was to, where that big house is to.
Yeah.
That's where my grandfather's house was originally.
Yeah. And you want to know where Helen lived, Helen Janes, that was Sim's wife. And
yeah, that's right.
Right in back where Nana lives. You go down, go towards the water, go to the south that way, and back. That's where they live. Man Frank Crocker lives in that vicinity now.
Okay.
Now that's where they live there. And I remember, your great grandmother Helen. I remember going over there, myself and my brother, when we were little boys. We would go over there, and she was a very generous woman. She always had something to give us, you know. And
that's the way Aunt Marge was.
Yeah.
Aunt Marge used to come, Nan's sister.
Yeah.
Every time she'd come to the house, she'd bring us drinks. She'd bring us bags of chips.
Yeah.
As a small boy, you couldn't wait for Aunt Marge to come because you knew that she'd have a great big bag each for me and my brother.
Yeah.
You knew she was coming with a treat for us.
And Aunt Pauline was the same way, very generous. And my grandmother Starks was the same way. One time years ago, money was pretty scarce.
Darn right it was.
Yeah. And one time, a rep came to my grandmother Starks' door, and when she went out, this was a man. He was on crutches. He had a leg gone, and he was around collecting money to get a hearty fish all leg.
Okay.
And my grandmother gave him 20 cents. Now, someone might say, well, that was not very much to give a man 20 cents, wasn't it? But that was every cent she had.
Wow.
When she was keeping her 20 cents to buy sewing cotton, because everyone used to patch clothes and that, then, you know, they didn't throw it away or nothing. You had to beg it go as long as you could. And she had the 20 cents to patch with and that. And that's what she was going to buy out of it, sewing cotton. But when this man come, she gave him their coin. Used to be a 20-cent coin at that time. And that was 20-cent coin was going when I was younger. And it was the same size of a quarter, 25 cents. And she gave them their 20-cent coin, and that was every cent she had to her name. And she gave
amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. And she was a very generous woman. And it went down true because your great grandmother Helen, she was like that, and Pauline was like that, her daughter.
But that's what they knew. And my grandmother was the same.
Yeah.
Nan would give and she gave whatever she had to anyone.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's instilled, I guess, in that family.
Exactly.
And that's the way that they were.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because, like I said, Aunt Marge used to come to the house to see me and Chris and see Nan and that, and she'd come over. Yeah. Aunt Marge had a very, very bad stutter.
Yes, she did.
Very bad stutter.
She did.
But she could, the phone would ring, and there'd be a person would ask for Aunt Lil.
Yeah.
As plain as I'm speaking to you now.
Yeah.
She could speak on the phone.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
But I guess the face-to-face together, she'd...
Yeah.
She couldn't speak.
No, she couldn't speak.
She couldn't speak, but
No.
she spoke very plain on the phone.
Yeah. And now, you know, I had an impediment in my speech when I was young.
Okay.
Yes.
I wonder whatever happened with that marriage. Was she born like that, or?
I guess she was.
Yeah.
I guess she was. But you know, there's one thing about people who got an impediment in their speech or who stutters or something like that.
Yeah.
They can sing and never be bothered by it.
No.
And
Amazing, isn't it?
I often wondered if Aunt Marjorie could sing. And I bet she could and wouldn't be bothered with the impediment.
No, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a little story about that. This little guy was a sailor on a ship. He worked on sea, but he had a bad impediment in his speech. Story goes.
Yeah.
Very bad impediment in his speech, and especially when he got excited. And that was very well. One day they were out to sea, and it was a bit rough, like the water was and everything. And this little fella, when he was at his work on the ship, he would entertain the crew and the officers too with his fine singing. He was a fine singer.
Yeah.
And anyhow, this day it was a bit rough, and he found himself out on the bridge where the captain was. And all excited he was trying to tell the captain something, and the captain knew it was important, but the little fella couldn't get it out. So the captain struck on an idea. He said, "Jones, my son," he said, "if you can't say it, why don't you try singing it?" So the sailor stood to attention and sang, "Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? The first mate is washed overboard and he's half a mile behind." he got it across to the captain that way. Yes.
Great. Great story.
But poor Aunt Marjorie did have a bad impediment in her speech.
She did, didn't she?
Yeah, very bad.
This is all, I'm guessing, the stuff that I remember that I've been talking to you about, I'm guessing this is mostly in the 70s. Because these people have passed on. They've been gone a long time now.
Now Peter boy, see, I had a picture here of your great grandfather, it was John James. I had a tintype there of them.
Oh, the tintype,
You've
yes.
seen tintype.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was before that there was like photo paper.
Yeah, they used to take the picture on a tin plate, some kind of a solution, but on the plate. Yeah,
and it'd burn into the tin.
Yeah, and I had a picture here of John James. He was my grandmother's father, of course, and he married the second time, but I don't know who he married the second time, I don't know that. But the three children that I mentioned before this, Helen and Mary Esther and John James, Robert John, that was his children from his second wife,
Okay.
Stepsisters, stepbrothers to my grandma. Yeah, and I had a picture.
What stories?
And I had a picture here.
Amazing stories.
I had a picture here of John James on tintype, and one time Reggie was there. You remember Reggie, sir?
Very much so.
Yeah. One time Reggie was there, and I give the picture to Reggie because it was his grandfather, eh?
Yes.
So I give.
And he named his son John.
Yeah.
That's right. No, I'm sorry. Claire named the son John. Sorry. Yeah.
And Claire passed away so quick. Claire was married
it came over him so fast.
Claire was married to Angela here
right.
from Westerville.
That's right.
Yeah.
Claire and Ange used to come to the house all the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was to the funeral. Me and Dad went to the funeral.
Yeah. Terry was an outgoing fella.
Oh, he sure was, wasn't
yes.
he? He lived with Nan for a long time. Nan and Dad and the uncles.
Yeah.
And Pennywell.
Something like Uncle Sim. Something like Uncle Sim was. He was outgoing there, yeah. I'll sing with his grandfather.
Amazing stories, boy. Amazing stories.
And now, another Barfoot I got to ask about. I don't know if you would know him or not. Clarence Barfoot. Will you know?
Clarence is still alive.
Clarence is still
Clarence is still alive, yeah.
Is he related to you?
Yes, sir. Clarence,
Yeah.
his son Charlie, they just buried, unfortunate, sad to say, their daughter, Sherilyn, passed away.
Yeah.
There was Charlie and John is left.
Yeah.
And Clarence and Burl. Poor old Burl, she's now senile.
I see.
Yeah.
Now, this is what I was wondering if you would know him. He was married to a girl from Pincher's Island in the first place, I believe.
Yeah.
Pincher's Island was inhabited.
That's right.
Perhaps she lived in Newtown afterwards, I don't know. But anyhow, that's who Burl Boland.
That's her.
Yeah.
That's her. The poor lady is, she's in the home now, and she doesn't know who's who. No, it's a sin.
Now, I knew about Burl Boland, and I knew about Clarence Barfoot because the teacher's daughters there on the Highland told me about Burl, because that's where they come from,
Yes.
you see, Pincher's Island.
That's right.
And they knew about Burl marrying Clarence Barfoot.
Yeah.
And then one day, I was down in my workshop down there, and this man came. And he told me who he was. He was Clarence Barfoot.
Very soft-spoken.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice gentleman.
Yeah. And what he was looking for was a model boat, like a model schooner, model fishing schooner, see?
Wow.
Now that's what he was looking for. And somebody told him on Bages Key that Gerald Starks makes boats. So this is what, but see, they thought it was a bigger
Model,
boat he was looking for, not a model.
No, you don't make models.
No.
When was the last boat? When was the last time you made a boat?
Oh boy, so many years ago.
Long time ago.
Good many years ago now. I built two last time for the town council in Newtown. That's
Wow.
the last ones.
That was the last one you did.
Yeah.
Now it was all fiberglass boats.
Yes.
Totally different now. It's not like it was then.
Yeah, no.
I can't get over the view. You got a beautiful view here.
Oh, it was a nice view one time when Bounds was over there, because there was ships coming down there and mooring up on us every day, you know.
There's lots of activity over on the wharf. You sit there at your kitchen table there and look out the window and
that's right.
and watch everything that was going on.
The Starks used to sit over there in their rocking chair.
Wow.
And she used to look out.
So this was your workshop, the stage down here?
Yeah, that grey painted place down there. Yeah.
That's where you did all your work?
Yeah.
Wow. So what year did that causeway go through? Did you put that causeway in?
And then I think it was in 53, I believe.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Wow. I thought it was probably more modern, more newer than that.
Oh, the causeway.
Yeah, this causeway.
I'm talking about the bridge. I'm talking about the bridge. The causeway. Now, I don't know what year that is, and so many people have asked me that, and I've had to look it up, because it's put down here somewhere.
That's right.
But I don't know rightly what that year was. Was it sometime in the 80s, I wonder?
Okay, yeah, I was thinking it was probably more modern than that, yeah. This concrete building over here, who owns this one?
That's Earl Spurl from Pools Island there. Married to a girl here on Pools Island.
Okay.
Spurl's daughter.
So what does he use that for? Is that a business or just storage?
He uses it there, he does welding and that, but they don't use it that much.
No, it kind of looks like it's getting a bit run down, doesn't it?
He built it there, but he never used it much after that.
Your kitchen, sir, reminds me of Pennywell Road, where I kind of grew up as such. Not so much grew up, but Dad and them grew up there.
Yeah.
I love the old cupboards, the old style is really nice.
Yes.
Very nice. And the old, is this also wood or is it just oil? This wood burning too?
No.
No, just oil.
I got oil in there, I got oil in there, and upstairs in that big room up there, there's an oil burner up there.
Wow.
eaters, you know. No, but the rings that fits, you know, fits the old works. But it's hard to get that now.
Hard to get the parts anymore.
Yeah, it's hard to get parts. I paid $58 for rings in Gander.
So something
for a
just-
set of rings.
Oh, go on.
One set, yeah.
One set.
And that's nothing. Well, only 2 iron rings is all.
There's something just spied my eye, sir. This caribou.
Oh, that's what I saw. They go down the door. And them roses over there on the wall.
If I'm not mistaken, there's one on Eric Street down to our house, down to Dad's, in an old cabinet, an old chest downstairs that looks identical to that.
Yeah?
I'm wondering, did you make it?
No, I don't. I believe that was the only one I made. Is that I can't remember.
Boy, I tell you, that sure looks something familiar to me. I might be wrong here what I'm talking about.
That picture used to be on Scribbler. It's like they used to use in school.
Yeah, the old scribblers. I remember using them.
Yeah, that's what I got it to. It's supposed from the Scribbler.
Probably, yeah, and you just etched it out one time.
And then the flowers over there.
Yeah, the flowers there on the wall.
On the wall. And then the leaf with the apple.
Oh, this is all your work?
Yeah, and the bird up over the guitar.
Beautiful. You were very crafty.
That was out in the top attic, and a friend was there with me, and we was looking over stuff out there, and he said to me, "Something in this box, Gerald." And I said, "Open and see what this." When he opened it, oh boy, he said, "Look, this was the flowers and the birds and the leaf and that. What have you got out here for?" He said, "Gerald." I said, "Boy, that went out there for years." I said, "I didn't know it was there." And he said, "No, cut it down and put it up in your kitchen. That's nice." I did that.
Yeah. Wow.
And the old plate there, the old platter there, English willow, that is.
Yes, there's a full story.
Yes.
There's a story. You follow the.
Yes.
I can't remember exactly what it is, but you trace the story.
2 little dinky birds off in the air.
Yeah.
Putting their kiss and what is it there? Bridge up over and apples on. Trees up over and apples on. A bridge down under ends my song or something like that. There's so many different ways to say it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some kind of a story behind it, and they tried to get married, and eventually they were being chased. There's a full story behind what happens, and then eventually they fly away as 2 birds and they're free.
Yes, yes.
There's an actual story behind it. Yeah, that's something actually to find out. That's hundreds of years old.
That's an old pattern I brought down from the southeast arm where my grandparents lived. It was in there, it's up there.
Oh, go on. So that's very old.
Yeah. I'll ask you a question now.
Okay, see if I can answer.
Yeah, you look. Did you ever hear talk of Judge Wicks?
Me, not personally. No.
He was a children's advocate for so long. He was
Okay.
a judge for so long. Well, he was the youngest son. Louis Wicks, his name was. He's still alive, I think. He was the youngest son of his father, Louis Wicks, who built this house.
Oh, go on.
Father bought this house from Louis Wicks.
So how old is this home?
And this home was about 112 or 14 years old.
Hey.
You would know.
Wow.
But it's in bad shape now for paint. Because I got old and can't paint it now.
Okay.
It was never like that one time. Just about one of the only houses around there that was always painted one time.
And now, unfortunately, is not.
Yeah, now it's gone. Because now I can't afford to buy the paint. I can afford to buy someone to paint it. But you can't get people to do small jobs like that like you could years ago.
No. No, unfortunately.
No, you can't get that now.
No. Not like it was that back then.
No.
No.
But
Very interesting, though, the home.
if I could got someone to paint it, I had it painted a few years ago. One of their sons,
Yeah.
Jesse's sons, he
Yeah.
was one of them, and another fellow from Danger's Key, a car.
Okay.
They painted it for me and shingled it for me then.
Oh, okay. How many years ago was that?
Oh, that's, I don't know just how many, I suppose this.
A while ago, I guess now. Yeah.
Years ago, so 6, 7 years ago. Yeah.
Well, sir, I'm going to run on because my wife is at the Banu's Lodge. I want to thank you from my heart, and I want to thank you from Dad and my uncle, because they're going to get a chance to watch this, and I know they're going to pick up on a lot of the information, and there'll be a lot of new information for them. And I'd say they have a lot of information too that you probably would love to hear too, because they've kept as much information as they possibly could.
Yeah.
Learn from Nan and all these people. Right?
I used to watch your father on television, you know.
That's fabulous, yeah.
Yeah. And I felt like I knew him, I felt like I knew him, so yeah.
That's right.
Because I knew about the past and everything, yes.
I would love to get the opportunity to bring them down.
Yes.
To come down for a weekend, because I'm coming down here so much.
Yes.
I would love to get Dad to come down, and if the opportunity was there to come and meet you.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Yes.
Because I say you guys would have some yarn together.
Oh yes, I guess
you'd have a lot of stories to compare back and forth.
Now there might be some important things now that slips my mind. See that I forgets, like, you know, but perhaps that might come to me sometime. You know, I say, I forgets names sometimes. I got to stop and think about the name, because I had your brother's forgotten now.
My brother Chris.
Yeah.
And I had another brother, this was long before my time. Well, not long before, but a couple of years before.
Yeah.
There was a brother, Craig.
Yeah.
As I mentioned to you before, I think it was on the phone.
Yeah.
He died of tuberculosis.
Yeah.
And I think it was either 67 or 68.
Yeah, there was one time that was rampant.
He only lived 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then I had a brother, Chris. My brother, Chris, is still alive. Chris, of course, still alive. Chris lives right across the street from me.
Yeah.
We work together, and we live only a couple of doors from each other.
Yeah.
And we also have a sister, Karen, that we never grew up with.
Yeah.
I think she's in Fogo.
Yeah.
Don't really have much of a relationship with her, but unfortunately, who knows, maybe someday we will, maybe someday we won't. But me and Chris are tight, because me and Chris grew up together.
Yeah.
So this side of the family, this side of the family, our sister Karen knows very little about.
Yeah.
Like us, we don't know her side, because she lives with the mother's side. They're from Musgrave Harbour.
Yeah. And you say you were married. You're married to
A Carter from Greenspan.
a Carter from Greenspan. Yeah. Now, then, well, she must be a good-looking woman, because there's a lot of nice-looking girls in Greenspan.
Yeah.
And I can remember my brother coming home from Argentia. That was during the Second World War. Now he was not working on the American base over there.
No.
He was working with the Newfoundland Railway.
Okay.
He was coming home in the fall, and they had to call in Greenspan. Like, you had to go, no road up through then. You had to go over passenger boat.
That's right, yeah.
And,
From Valleyfield Wharf.
Yeah. And he was coming home, and they had to call in Greenspan to land someone. And I could hear my brother telling me, well, I never seen such a bunch of good-looking girls in my life. There was a crowd on the wharf, he said. A lot of young people lived there. I never seen so many good-looking girls in my life before. He said, that's what I've seen in Greenspan.
Fabulous. Up in Greenspan, yeah.
You'll have to tell your wife that.
Yeah. Joy's very nice, yeah. Very pretty.
Who was her father?
Her father's Wilfred Carter.
Wilfred.
Still alive. He'll be 90 in 4th of January.
Yeah,
and her mom is up here, up to Banu's Lodge. That's where my wife is up there too now. That's where I have to go back to now shortly.
And
that's Susie Carter.
There was a man used to run a ferry from Greenspan down there before the causeway. He was a Carter.
Okay.
Yeah. I know where he'd been in relation to.
Joy's dad was a mason all his life.
Yeah.
Hardest kind of work.
Yes.
Worked in Gander, lived in Gander for a long time, worked at the cement foundry in the back of Gander, in Old Gander, town of Gander.
Yeah.
Worked in the Flyers, I think it was the old Flyers Club, was it? I might be wrong by that. And worked Goose Bay, and anywhere, like Seaboard Construction, anywhere that they were doing work, he was He was doing the hardest kind of work, and he was only a small man, still is a small man, and worked like the dog.
The man used to come down here was Charlie Carter.
Charlie Carter, okay.
Yeah, I know he's any relation to him.
I'll mention it to him. Yeah, but anyway, sir, I'm gonna sign off with you, and thank you very much for this afternoon. I have to run up now and pick up my wife back up at the home there. Yes. And again, I thank you for your time. I really, really, really appreciate it.
It's so nice to meet you.
And I will promise you, I will drop in and see you more. Yeah, I definitely will. I'll stop in and have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee with you.
Yeah.
And pick up as much knowledge as I can off you. And the old stories.
I don't know how much longer now I got in this world because I'm 87 now.
Well, you're doing okay for 87, sir.
But you know, Peter, my eyes are gone. And then I lost my driver's license about 3 years ago.
That's hard.
And that put a crimp in me because I got no relatives. I got nice friends around.
Yeah.
I got nice friends, but I got no relatives, no close relatives. The closest relative I got is one first cousin, and she's in Costa Mesa, California.
Go on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because that's on my mother's side of the family. My mother had 2 sisters and 2 uncles, or 2 brothers rather.
Here's the old cemetery. Very few grave markers left there now. Not much you can see as such. Everything's so grown up now. One of these days I come down, I'm going to try to go through and see what I can find in here. What kind of names. Check out the sun. Oh God. Awful bright. Anyway, I had an absolutely amazing afternoon with a very amazing gentleman. I'm so glad I did that. So happy that I had an opportunity to do that. I gotta get this camera brought up and plugged into my hard drive because I'm scared to death I might lose the footage or something happen now. Anyway, just driving across back now towards Badger's Key. I had goosebumps this afternoon speaking to this amazing gentleman, thinking of poor old Nan. And here's the home again. Watch what I'm doing. There's the house right there. And this was the causeway. Yeah. Going across to Badger's Key, and this is Badger's Key on this side. Badger's Quay.